Hey, you just wanna hope everybody's good. It's Friday. Just wanna touch a little pieces here on uh, these prenatal, checkups and preeclampsia. You know, there's so many things that are done during your prenatal checkups, especially the first visit you make with your doctor, your obstetrician, and your gynecology doctor. But specifically, I'm going to focus on the prenatal checkup and preeclampsia. Usually, with the checkup, the first visit when you feel like you're pregnant, you didn't see your periods and you suspect there's some body changes and changes in your body, and you feel things might have gone the other way around. Probably you were expecting it or you were not expecting it, or it was by mistake. The first thing you want to do is to see your obstetricians. That's your doctor, to start checkups and to see if whatever you were thinking of is true. If you were thinking of being pregnant, you have to be checked to make sure that truly you are pregnant. And usually the first visit, usually it's kind of more intense compared to the other visits, because this is where they have to take all your history, your medical history, your medications that you are in. If you have any risk factors before other pregnancies, if this is not your first time pregnancy, and this is where the tests and the physical exams to make sure that you and your pregnancy is growing well or it's healthy. There is no any other complication that is been noted, and you are staying well. uh, Usually, what they do, they do some basics. They measure your height, they take your weight, your blood pressure. Your blood pressure, that's where the preeclampsia is gonna come in. We're gonna get there. And your physical, your lifestyle, how you eat, exercises. This is where such things are gonna be discussed. They wanna do a breast exam, pelvic exam, pap tests. They're gonna be testing for SDTs, like chlamydia, gonorrhea, especially in Nairobi where we have that super gonorrhea now. They have to do all those screenings, syphilis, HIV, to make sure that those diseases, if they're still there with pregnancy, especially the gonorrhea, they're gonna affect your child. Pig. We don't want that to happen. Therefore, that screening has to be done, and usually a good doctor is gonna recommend that, especially in the US. It's not an option. It's not an option. They have to do all those screenings to make sure that everything is going in the right direction. This is where you also want to discuss about the diets, what you've been eating, your lifestyle. I've already mentioned all that. You want to also discuss about the medication that you are in. Some medications are not good with pregnancy. They want to discuss some changes. If they want to make some changes, that's where your doctor is going to help you discuss all those things. Therefore, prenatal visits, especially the first one, is very important. Even if you are trying to hide your pregnancy because you didn't carry it through the right way, please make an appointment. It doesn't have to be public. You can make an appointment to go and see that obstetrician or the gyno or wherever, to make sure that you start following up from the immediate, immediately you suspect that the pregnancy is there, so that you can be monitored and or everything should be checked, and to be safe, you and your baby. Complications, they can cost your life and the life of your baby. As you keep going, the second, third, the doctor is going to keep updating your medical history if you have come up with that, uh, you know, medical problems later in life. Because usually, your doctor who sees you for pregnancy usually is different from the primary doctor, and might have gone to the primary doctor, and if they are not in the same care team, and some new conditions have been discovered, therefore, your prenatal doctor has to keep updating all those and make sure that your record is updated, to be on the safe side, especially with the medication and such like. Still on the second, as you keep going with your visits, they have to update those history, check your urine. Urine, that's very, very important, because especially if they find protein in urine, protein in urine is not a good indication. It means that your organs, some organs are kind of not working well, especially the kidney. And especially, you know, if your blood pressure is high, it will put a lot of pressure on your kidney, on your cardiovascular system. That's your kidneys, and your brain. There's those small arteries up there. They might burst up and cause a lot of problems like strokes and other cardiovascular problems that we don't really need when you are pregnant. When you are pregnant, you need to be taken care of like a little egg that we don't want it to pass until that pregnancy ends. That's where they check for weight, yeah, the blood pressure. They keep checking it all the time. The swearing is okay. Pregnant mothers usually have some swearing, especially in the lower extremities, the legs and the arms. But if there's that sudden increase in swearing and weight, there is a problem there. There is a problem that needs to be addressed, especially you are accumulating fluids in the body that is unusual. They start swearing that is normal in pregnancy. Your doctor will discuss with you about it, but if they start sudden increase, something might be not going well. They're gonna check your peri to see how your pump is growing, and feel it, how the fetus is doing. They're gonna measure the growth of the peri and see if it's growing in the right direction, in the right way. They're gonna listen to the fetal heartbeat and make sure that it's normal, and it can be hard. If it's not hard or it's faint, it's a sign that something is not developing well. Attention needs to be, something needs to be addressed. Yeah. Sometimes, uh, you know, yeah, those are the things. Now, if they're gonna discover that your blood pressure is going up, usually it was ranging at the normal range, and now it starts going up. That's what they're gonna start focusing on. That's what we call preeclampsia. Yeah, preeclampsia is a disorder of pregnancy where the pp, the blood pressure, stays up, especially from the 20th week. Your blood pressure has been normal all the way, but as from the 20th week, they realize that it's going up. This blood pressure, especially if it's going to be accompanied by protein in the urine. Yeah, protein in the urine, it's an indication that your kidneys are working so hard, and it's not a good sign. Therefore, they're gonna start monitoring you closely and see if that blood pressure is gonna be kept at a certain range. Probably you're gonna be started on a blood pressure medication, and you might increase your frequency of going to see your doctor. If it's left untreated, it can lead to, other complication for the mother and the baby. There's so many complications that can come up, especially as I mentioned earlier, the cardiovascular problems where you might even get a stroke. Your baby may not get enough nutrients or the oxygen, and it's gonna be a restricted growth on your fetus, and that one can lead to other complication in with your baby that we don't really want. Early delivery recommended if this is not gonna be kept on check. And these early deliveries, usually it depends on how your blood pressure is gonna be and the timing, the age of your pregnancy. Before delivery and monitoring, it has to be done. Monitoring, it always has to be done to make sure that you are not reached in levels that is not acceptable. How do you know that you have preeclampsia? The first one is the blood pressure. If your blood pressure from the week 20, it's not controlled, it's going up, that's a sign that you might be developing preeclampsia. Another sign is urine in the protein in the urine. These are the tests that are done in the doctor's office. Usually at home, you cannot, see the protein in urine. It has to be done. There's some tests that are going to be conducted at the doctor's office to rule out this. There's a decreased blood rates. That's a condition they call thrombocytopenia. Your blood rates. These are the clotting factors. If there's decreased in that, it means it's a sign that you're developing a preeclampsia. Liver enzymes. A liver is one of the organs that is affected when the blood pressure goes up. If the liver enzymes are up, it means something is not right. All this combination of these factors, when they are put together, it means you are in at risk of a preeclampsia pregnancy. Change in vision, blood pressure, high blood pressure usually exert a lot of pressure on those little capillaries in the eyes, and that one can affect your vision. Shortness of breath, usually with accumulation of those fluids in the lungs can cause sort of breath, nausea, and vomiting. It's a normal thing with the pregnancy, but sometimes when it's a combination of other factors, it needs to be taken into consideration. Another thing is pain in the upper belly. If those combinations, sometimes it's normal pregnancy, but when they such combination or of those factors are there, you are considered to be preeclampsia. Now, what are the risk factors? Number one is history of preeclampsia. If you had a previous baby and you had a preeclampsia, therefore there's chances that your second baby or your third baby, you might be, having that condition. Therefore, usually they keep your history. Those are the things that they're gonna keep checking, especially if you go to the same doctor the second time that you were there the first time. Those are the things they're gonna keep checking. Pregnancy with more than one baby, if you have twins, such like, sometimes it's too much for the body to handle. It can cause that preeclampsia. We have chronic hypertension. This chronic hypertension is the hypertension or the blood pressure, high blood pressure that was before you got pregnant. That's what we call the chronic hypertension. If pregnancy comes in, sometimes it may excavate it to be so high. Another thing is autoimmune disorders. Another one is obesity. If your weight is so high, your PMI is not going with your height, you might be at risk of having that condition called preeclampsia. The complications of preeclampsia are, usually it affects the arteries carrying the blood to the placenta, leading to a growth issue called fetal growth restrictions. Fetal growth restriction is where the fetus is not getting enough nutrients, oxygen, and everything. Therefore, there is restricted growth, and this one can lead to other complications like weight. The fetus weight is gonna be very low. The baby having developmental delays like cerebral palsy. They start standard growth that the fetus is supposed to grow, and if the restrictions is over there, it's not gonna grow well. Another one is a preterm birth, and giving birth early before the term. Usually, that's another treatment of preeclampsia. If they cannot get your blood pressure into a range that is acceptable, probably they're gonna induce you, and this is usually depends on the age of your pregnancy. And this is another issue that comes with the baby. When the babies are born too early, they usually go through that nursery thing, and there's other issues that comes up usually at times. A premature baby who is born early cannot be compared with a term baby. Usually with the fusion, feeding, and so many things usually can get affected. Yeah. Another one, we have what we call placental abruption. This is where the placenta separates from the inner wall of the uterus, and this one can lead to severe bleeding, and how bleeding is, especially when you are pregnant. You lose a lot of blood, it can cause anemia, and your body needs that blood. We don't want you to lose any blood. Other complications are like eclampsia, organ damage, especially from that high blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases. You can get things like a stroke. Those are the things that you need to pay attention to, check on, especially if you suspect you are pregnant. Just staying without pregnancy is without seeing a doctor in the beginning, it's very risky. It's by the time they realize that you've been having other complications, and not everything that you can tell. Some complications are very silent, and it will be too late to treat them and bring you into a normal range. Therefore, very, very, very important. Either your pregnancy was accidental, the way you say your pregnancy was expected, you need to start seeing the doctor immediately. Especially wale jamaa wa huko nyumbani mnapenda kuficha ficha hiyo kitu. It's not safe. It's not safe. See the doctor. If there's any complication, let them start treatment, let them stabilize you, let them keep monitoring it until you deliver, because sometimes it's not easy to handle a baby that is not normal after delivery. Therefore, that's what we are trying to avoid. It's very, very stressful. Not only the baby, you are healthy too. It's very, very important. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.